all you need to know, the Bloomberg Quint podcast that prepares you for the day's business.
Happy New Year! On behalf of Bloomberg Quint, here's wishing you all the prosperity, good fortune and happiness you can possibly experience, not just in 2021, but in the new decade. I'm Alex Matthew and this is the first Bloomberg Quint podcast of the new year. Here's news on India's economy first. India's fiscal deficit touched 135% of the budgeted target during the April to November period, despite the government's attempt to cut spending. The gap between revenue and expenditure stood at 10.75 lakh crore during the April to November period, according to data on the website of the Comptroller General of Accounts. Last year, the fiscal deficit had stood at 114.8% of the budget target in the same duration. In more news on the economy, contracting for the 9th consecutive month, the output of 8 core infrastructure sectors dropped by 2.6% in November, mainly due to decline in production of natural gas, refinery products, steel and cement. In fact, barring coal, fertilizer and electricity, all sectors recorded negative growth in November of 2020. During April to November, the sector's output dropped by 11.4% as compared to a growth of 0.3% in the same period of the previous year. Moving on, a dry run for COVID-19 vaccination will be conducted by all state and union territory administrations tomorrow to test the linkages between planning and implementation and to identify challenges, according to the centre's statement. The activity is proposed to be conducted in all state capitals in at least 3 session sites. Some states will also include districts that are situated in difficult terrain or have poor logistical support, while Maharashtra and Kerala are likely to schedule the dry run in major cities other than their capital, according to the Union Health Ministry. In other news, the Delhi High Court has allowed an application filed by Clicks Capital Services to restrain Acute Realty, a future group entity, from alienating or creating third-party interest on its mall property in Durgapur, West Bengal. Clicks Capital extended loans of more than 90 crore rupees to Future Capital Investments against a pledge on the shares of Future Retail and Future Consumer. The lending firm moved court seeking an interim relief against the Future Group entities after a reduction in the agreed security cover caused by a fall in the price of pledged shares. Now, in international news, Tokyo recorded a record number of new COVID-19 infections and Japan warned it could consider a state of emergency if the new outbreak can't be contained. Cities that had gone weeks without new infections globally, including Beijing and Melbourne, are now reporting clusters, and the new highly transmissible virus strain was found in Singapore and California. The variant of the virus is more transmissible and appears to affect a higher proportion of people under 20, according to a report. So start the new year with caution and a positive outlook. Stay safe. In international markets, US markets ended higher on the last trading day of the year. The Dow gained the most, ending higher by 0.6%, while the S&P 500 climbed 0.3%. The Nasdaq Composite ended the year higher by just about 0.1%. And there's not much to tell you about the rest of the international markets. Most of them will be shut today. But ours is open, and to tell you more about what to look forward to on the first trading session of the new year, here's Hormuz Fatakia. Good morning, Hormuz, and Happy New Year to you. How is it looking?
Good morning to you, Alex. Wishing you, our listeners, a very, very happy and delightful 2021. The markets may have ended the final trading day of the year on a subdued note, but the year was anything but subdued. The Nifty ended 15% higher for the year, its best since 2017. The broader markets outperformed the indices in 2020 with gains of over 20%. Banks, however, were laggards, with the PSU Bank Index having its worst year since 2015. Let's take a look at some of the specific stocks on New Year's Day. I'll start off with Mahindra & Mahindra today. A statement from Ford has said that the two companies have dropped plans for an automotive joint venture. Changes caused in the business environment, partly driven by the pandemic, is attributed to be the reason behind the stalling of such plans. Ford says that its independent operations in India will continue as is. Bharat Dynamics, the manufacturer of Akash missiles, has said that with the Union Cabinet clearing the weapon system for exports, the company is geared up to take up more export orders. The management says that it is confident of meeting the export demand in addition to meeting the requirements of the Indian Armed Forces. JSPL has announced that the Coal Ministry has declared Jindal Power as the successful bidder for the Gare Palma 4x1 mine. Jindal Power is a subsidiary of the company, and the bid price was at a 25% premium to the representative price. Some board meetings to consider dividend proposals. The board of Zensar Technologies will consider a proposal for payment of interim dividend on the 21st of January. Also, the board of TCS will also be meeting on the 8th of January to consider a third interim dividend for shareholders. Watch out for auto stocks today as the companies will be releasing their sales data for the month of December. MOIL has announced price hikes across different grades of manganese ore and other products. The prices of all ferro grades of manganese ore having manganese Mn 37% and above has been increased by 10%, while that of all other ferro grades having manganese below Mn 37% have been increased by 15% as compared to last month. The prices of all SMGR grades and all grades of fines have been increased by 15% as compared to last month, and the prices of all grades of chemical grades of manganese ore have been raised by 10% as compared to last month. Indigo says that some of their servers were subject to a hacking incident earlier in December. The carrier said that some segments of data servers were breached, and as a result, there is a possibility of some documents getting uploaded on public websites and platforms. The airline has said that the incident will be investigated in detail. Rain CII Carbon, a step-down subsidiary of Rain Industries, has completed the sale of two of its wholly owned subsidiaries for a cash consideration of 637.4 crore rupees. The proceeds from the sale will be utilized to pay debt and for other corporate purposes. And lastly, the first day of the year will see a new listing as well. Antony Waste Handling Cell will be listed on the bourses today. The 3-day IPO had seen subscription of over 15 times. And that's all from me today. I once again wish you all a happy new year and a happier weekend ahead. And with that, it's back to you, Alex.
Thanks, Hormus. And as always, thank you all for listening in. This is Alex Matthews signing off. Have a great start to the new year.
I hope you enjoyed listening to All You Need to Know. Did you know that you could listen to the show on the IVM Podcast app? On the IVM Podcast app, along with this, we have a number of other shows which you think you'll enjoy. Listen to Cyrus Says with Cyrus Brocha as the host. Listen to Paisa Vaisa with Anupam Gupta. The Scene and the Unseen with Amit Verma. Or Shunya One hosted by Shiladitya Mukhopadhyay and myself. Check out the IVM Podcast app to get more talk content that you will enjoy.